Have you ever done this? Welcome to another test show edition of Thought Spiral. I'm your host, Andy Kindler.
And I'm J. Elvis Weinstein, your friend on the side.
That's right. And we're going to be going 2 hours tonight. That's what we usually do. And then, God, I hate this whole thing.
Yeah, that's why we don't do it.
Why don't we? Yeah. Who does it? Nobody does it anymore. There's nobody has to say on the sixes, right? Anymore?
No. Dennis Miller does.
We could do. We should just do the like a traffic or some kind of like a hippie weatherman.
That's quite a bark you got.
That's what I have this thing down here, and then Susan says, "Is it in my lungs?" How would I know if it's? I mean, is that my lungs where it's in? Why is it pooling down there? I wish you were a doctor.
I'm so glad I'm not.
That would have been great because we'd have gone, and it's medical time with Andy Kindler.
Oh man, would this be a bad podcast if I was a doctor?
Or even worse, medical time with Dr. J. Elvis Weinstein. Not an actual doctor, but he's read a lot about it.
That's all right. But he stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
And is that part of a commercial?
It was a while back.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But you also could say,
I know you don't watch TV. You don't have a TV in your house.
I remember there's one comic, I wish I could remember his name, but he used to say, I get so mad when people say to me, "Oh, we don't have a TV in my house." Really? I got 12. I have 15. That's how I feel when people say that.
Yeah.
I don't have a TV in the house. You don't have...
That is not a character trait, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there used to be a guy named Ira Festel. He was a talk show host on KBC 790.
Yeah.
And he had a show where he was talking about culture and stuff, and he never watched TV.
Right.
And it got to be enraging to me.
Yeah.
Because people would call up and go, "Yeah, so this show, I don't know. I don't watch any TV at all."
It's a pretty big blind spot in today's culture.
And never, even since Kennedy was killed, the guy doesn't watch it.
Yeah. Well, he missed out on a lot of...
that was good
not
programming.
Not that much, really.
Well, the one thing that was a cliffhanger and then you didn't see it coming was the Ruby. And we're bringing Oswald out to another location. He's going to be, and we've got it wired down here in Dallas. I know that guy. He's been here many times.
Hey, I love his place. That guy hanging out at his nightclub. Oh my God.
Hey, Jack, what are you doing with that?
Nice face, white hat.
Dana Gould.
That was bungled. That whole thing.
Yeah. What would you call that whole... First of all, he was a patsy, is what he kept saying.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I find now the JFK assassination hilarious.
At best, he was a potsy.
He was a patsy. I used to be so depressed. In fact, if someone tickled me, I have to say, try to think of the Kennedy assassination. That was my way, because that was my first memory of sadness.
Yeah.
Now I think it's hilarious.
And you made that same face that Oswald made in that picture when people tickled you.
Well, that's what Dana Gould always says. That guy must have been so embarrassed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Like the rest of his life. Hey, Jack. Whoa. No, he's not Jack, though. What are the odds of him being Jack?
It's Texas. Probably a lot of Jacks walking around.
Do you know the look on his face, though, when he saw Oswald coming is not... that would be a look I would have when I'm feeling comfortable about a thing. My face, my eyeballs would have run. I would have pushed Oswald.
Your normal meeting someone face is the same as the Texas deputy with a gun guy approaching face.
Oh man, I'm glad things are better today. We've come so far.
Yes, haven't we so fast?
So here's what I'm going to predict, Josh.
Okay.
I'm going to predict that we're going to win both houses of the Congress. It means nothing, this prediction. I rarely write in the past, but I have a feeling.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if it's real.
Well, it's a dumb feeling, I think.
What's your take?
Man, I'm so braced for like the worst case scenario just because of last time that I'm not making bold predictions.
That's good.
I think we will take the House back. Everyone seems real willing to be certain about that, for what that's worth. And I think there'll be a couple of like marquee blue wins.
In the... Oh, you mean like in the House or in the Senate?
No, well, it could be like down in Texas. Mr. Cruz going away.
That would be so good. Oh,
could be a Beto win. It could be Georgia governor.
But that's how you have to say. You never know what things are going to be like because I thought after Barack Obama that there was just nobody left that I was inspired by. I know you love.
You couldn't even pin someone on me fast
Lawrence
enough.
O'Malley. What is his name? O'Malley.
Martin O'Malley?
Yes, I know you're a big Martin O'Malley fan.
Yeah. Almost as much as Mike O'Malley. So.
Who's that? Oh, that show. I don't watch that show anymore, Mike. What's it called?
I don't know.
Well, there was one with Alan years ago with the guy from Anthony, what's his name? Clark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for
Yes, dear.
Thanks for steering us into a wall.
Yes, dear, it was called.
Okay.
And Mike O'Malley. And
there was the Mike O'Malley show, which they promoted the hell out of for a summer, and then boom.
I told you when I read those
and
old.
then he became sort of.
He
seems like he's sort of a permanent next door neighbor. I think he might just go from show to show as a next door neighbor.
I heard he's going to move into the show business retirement home, but as the next door neighbor. Look at who are we to make fun of?
I wasn't denigrating. As I've said before, second lead on a sitcom, I believe, is the best job in show business.
Oh yeah, what's not a job?
Well, exactly.
My recurring character.
It's 5 days a week with snacks provided, and you have to memorize a little bit.
I mean, the thing is, when I don't want to talk about it again, but I like to bring up Everybody Loves Raymond every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that was just the best food in the world. They were the number one show. It was the easiest job in the world. And yet, I still found time to be miserable.
I remember.
What's that?
Your anxiety and complaints throughout.
You do?
Yes.
We go back to like 92 then or something like that.
Yeah, right around there.
This was 96, 2005.
I remember the big thing was when you were doing Letterman and you were like really like you were more angst about like Letterman's giving you a deal than you were about the fact that you were doing Letterman. And I was kind of like, hey, Andy, you're doing fucking Letterman.
Well, the first time
enjoy the fact that you're doing Letterman.
Oh, I didn't the first time.
No,
at all.
but it wasn't.
Terrible,
it was once you had been.
In the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was when I got you. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you were angsting on the phone.
Do you never remember a time where I was no angst at all, angst ridden, forgotten, easy going,
just like, on stage?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, it's like what he's.
You know, the comedy
makes it look so easy. He looks so clean. He moves like God's immaculate machine.
I feel it's a gift, and I don't. And it's like if people want to laugh at it, that's great. That's not what I'm about.
No, it's just my time.
I call it a relationship.
Yeah,
a bad relationship, and one in which, and that's where I would hire you to write the joke.
I'd say.
Do you believe that Bob Hope used to throw checks down the stairs at his writers Christmas? I don't believe it. That sounds ridiculous. And instead of giving them gifts, he would take them into the room where he got all the gifts that he got that he didn't want, and he'd let them go through.
The regifting suite.
Yeah, that's right. And do you know that Arsenio Hall
I kind of like the extra gurgle in your laugh, by the way.
What's that?
I like the extra gurgle in your laugh.
I know, and I think I may be dying.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I like it. It's like extra bang for my buck.
Arsenio Hall gave out snow globes one year, and everyone was very upset about it. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Because, you know what? If you're on Arsenio, you're not in it for the long run. You know it's going to end.
Right.
Don't give me this Arsenio. It was like a snow globe. Arsenio or Hollywood Cineo or something. And everyone hated it.
At America's Funniest Home Videos, the show is on. It's still on.
Right.
And it's been on since the 80s.
On what time? Is it Sundays?
Sundays at 7.
Like at Channel
7 or ABC. It's a network show still.
Yeah. I wouldn't imagine that's a perfect.
But, after that many years, you just crew gifts are just like, they're scratching their head. They gave out collapsible picnic tables one year. And it was just like, they just, because what do you
really
do?
Do that, though,
they did. They really did. And some one year be like a decent, good backpack, and then it'd be like the collapsible pink, and then.
Well, I have every Letterman jacket, but I don't wear them out.
Yeah, don't wear it out.
What's the joke that's based on?
That's my name. Don't
wear it out.
I don't know.
It still works.
Not when you dissect it, really. I thought I could just, we could move on.
Oh, no. No, not when you stop.
I say a thing, you laugh, we go on.
My wife said to me yesterday, she said to me,
Again, Andy? Oh, sorry.
I have to, but you? She said, ask me for something. Oh, now I remember. She
Okay.
said, would I like, do you have any eye drop? What's it called? Eye drops?
Eye drops?
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Yeah, soothing eye drops. Do you have any eye drops?
Like,
And I said, yeah, let me get them for you. And then literally 4 seconds later, I said, what did you just ask me? And she said, you have to stop. You have to start remembering what you asked. It's really getting out of control. And she claims it's not it's like a affectation.
well,
But she never said that to me before. Do you have any eye drops? Yeah, I'll get them for you right now. What did you just say to me? Right now. That's not acceptable to her.
all right. I think she has a point.
She does have a
She
point.
has a place to stand in this argument.
And what did my father say? He has a point, but if he combs his hair right, you won't see it. Now, I know he didn't write that, but
No.
he delivered it very well.
Just knowing that he could operate that Rolodex of classics like that.
I'm wondering if there were any ones that were his. Like I used to say, like we would play wrestle, and I say, Dad, you're hurting me. And he'd say, no, you hurt me. I'm bigger.
Ah.
Do you get that? You should get that. He's saying, I should hurt him because he's bigger. So I should hurt him.
He was saying it as if you were requesting that he hurt you.
Oh, no. I go, Dad, you hurt me. He goes, no, you hurt me. I'm bigger. I should be hurting him because I'm smaller. That's how I took it.
I don't understand it really in either,
And
it was
how much
it was meant to misdirect, I think.
Well, here's the J. Elvis Weinstein scale. You have the scales of justice?
Yeah.
You have the scales between how much you care about what you're hearing.
Okay, right. That's on the left.
And then, let's see, the left is the perfunctory guess. And the right is once you find out that you don't know what it is.
All right.
Maybe it's not a scales metaphor.
Cost benefit analysis is what I like to think of it as.
Oh, man, I can't even look at the cover of Skidoo.
That's why I was trying to clear off the table like you're a child. Because it's in front of you.
What was it that I picked it up?
You didn't have to bring it back.
But why the garage door opener? Why was that? You were concerned? Because I could have started flipping it?
I don't know. I just didn't want you handling it. I didn't want you asking questions. I didn't want...
Oh, boy. I feel good tonight. I don't know what happened.
You went back to the magic elixir and the coffee cup this week.
Do you want me to lie first and then tell you the truth?
No.
Okay, well, here's will be the lie. What's the matter with you? What are you accusing me of? There's just juice in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the truth is, it's a lovely sativa mix.
All right. At least it's not an indica blend.
I don't want to get tired here.
No.
I'm tired. I'm tired thinking about talking.
Yeah.
That's not right. That's not right. But today, and I think you know this, I woke up today.
I didn't so far.
I looked on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I find out that I'm going to be in Glendale, Arizona on Thursday. Glendale.
That is fucked up that you don't know what gig you have this week. That's like the second time in a month.
Is that really true? Oh,
Yeah,
I don't remember I was going to Seattle? Or?
Yeah. Bruce called you up and went, oh, you got your tickets yet? And you were,
So in other words, it's not usually $500 to fly round trip to Phoenix?
oh, shit. Why don't you just...
Wait, let me ask you a question. Is that the right normal price? Or is that a super saver price? I'm going for Burbank.
Burbank's nice.
So I'm only guaranteed, I think I'm guaranteed $500 for the three. I'm staying at a hotel. Great. Now look at this.
Okay.
I want to talk about this. If we can talk about it, not to defend me. I want to see if there's anything entertaining.
Well, what was entertaining to me, first off, when you told me today that you had this gig coming up, was that someone asked us last week on the show.
One of the questions.
Hey, are you guys ever going to come to Phoenix? And you're like, I don't know anywhere good there.
And I even remembered.
So not only did you fucking not know where you're performing next week, but you fucking slagged the club you're playing.
I don't know of any place to go there. On a podcast. That was the podcast that came out last night.
Yeah.
That could have helped.
Yeah, it would have.
Hey, so if I say come down and see me in Phoenix this week, no
Not
good.
gonna help.
NG.
Not gonna help.
I have one thought spiraler coming.
Oh, that's good.
He's the guy online who probably asked. Seth Gibson?
Seth something, yeah.
Yeah. So I woke up, and here's the thing. All I'm going to tell you is I'm going to describe to you the conditions of my condition, which is all this few months knew.
I almost had to cue the Kenny Rogers music there.
What was that one?
The condition.
He wrote the check to see what condition my condition is in.
Isn't that fifth or whatever?
The Fifth Dimension.
New.
That's the new edition.
No, Kenny Rogers and the new edition.
That's a good song.
Sure, we remember it. 40 years later.
I also know this about. I don't know if you know this about poker, but when you're playing poker, you have to know when to hold them. Know when to fold them.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Know about that?
No.
I can't even go further. That's how worried I am about being sued. Like Shatner could have gotten sued. Shatner had to get clearance for his talk singing, didn't he?
Sure.
Rocket Man.
And I think it's going to be a long, long time.
If he is only entertaining because he's a complete creep, right? That's laughable.
I don't know. To me, he went over the rails because he became self-aware. And that wasn't part of the entertainment factor to me.
You mean way back even at the Rocket Man time?
No, he wasn't self-aware then.
That's so good.
He wasn't self-aware in 94 when I worked, or 95 when I did that thing with him, and he was an annoying asshole.
Yes, right. He's always a terrible man.
There was no self-awareness in that room, but when he hit 80, suddenly he realized my only hope is self-awareness.
No, and also, I don't know why you claim he's the best actor of our lifetime. He's not that great. I don't know. Tried to pin you as a Shatner fan.
Yeah, it wasn't very convicted.
I don't even do a good Shatner impression.
I don't either.
He doesn't even do.
You say sabotage, I say sabotage.
Is that from one of the
It's
episodes?
one of those celebrities at their worst recordings. Spock, sabotage the system. No, you say sabotage, I say sabotage.
Wait, is this a Monty Python bit?
No, it's literally one of those, Jesus Christ. I just love how you're like passing back and forth from side to side like a fucking germ sprinkler. The oscillating petri dish.
If you get sick, it'll kill me, but I don't think you will because I think I came with I haven't touched you at all.
No, you're not gonna now.
I touched Lucky.
Oh,
Can Lucky get a cold?
She did get a flu vaccine, but
are you kidding me?
No.
When did this start happening?
She got it because, if you ever put them in like any kind of kennel with other dogs situation, there are dog flu issues.
Oh, and where are you going that you need to put her away?
Why do you need to know everything?
Oh, okay. And when are you going? What are the dates? What is the PIN number for the alarm system that you don't have?
I'm just going to let her loose in your apartment while you're gone.
That would be good.
Yes.
I would be a bad caretaker, though.
You would.
No, I would be OCD, so it would be...
Is it time to eat? What was I doing?
Why does that dog look like it hasn't had something to drink?
Oh, let me get you something to drink. What did I put my weed?
Do you want a glass? Like, I don't even understand the concept of how would you drink?
Right.
If you were...
Oh, you're a dog, so you need a straw.
Okay, I get it. Right. You're a dog. I need a cup that you can hold. Do they have opposing thumbs?
No, they have cooperative thumbs.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Comedy Radio, comedy all night long. Gobbly. Pun comedy. All right, and welcome to the show. So, I woke up, actually I found out 10 o'clock last night, 11 o'clock last night, and the thing is that, the only thing I want to say is that I'm not only am I not cured of whatever it is that I have.
So you found out on Twitter last night, oh shit, I have a gig in Glendale.
Yes.
Because luckily they tagged you in the promo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
good.
I'm in the interactions area probably 16 hours a day.
Sure.
I have an apartment there. I pay a guy who just gets my interactions.
Yeah, that's nice.
Passes them off to me. So, at first I thought maybe it was a mistake. But then I quickly found the email from my manager, Catherine, saying it was going to happen. But that was back from July. Wah, wah. So I did talk to Catherine. I said, if any way you guys can remind me. I know it's all my fault, but everything's my fault. But I just can't believe that I It's like my mind. Now, have you ever missed a gig?
No.
Do you there's no reason. Why would you be that judgmental about a man who maybe he's a nice man, but he forgets things?
Well, how could you present it to me as if it was commonplace?
Well, I'm just hoping that it ever happened to you.
No, it never happened
Did
to
you ever
me.
return a rental car late?
Nope.
Well, you're okay. You don't even have a fear about it. I have these.
No, I don't.
I knew this was going to happen. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. So you just never put it in your calendar, obviously?
I never put it in my calendar, so I bought a ticket. It's $500 round trip from Burbank to Phoenix. I know that. I don't know if that's the 21-day super safe.
That is not.
Remember the days when it used to have to be 3 weeks before the flight, or you wouldn't necessarily get a low price.
Right, like that.
If I was to tell you it's my entire
45-minute flight.
If I was to tell you it was my entire guarantee, it wouldn't be true, but it wouldn't be far from the truth.
Okay.
But I got to get people in there.
Yeah.
350 people, I get a bonus, and then 500 people.
I see that. That's even sadder that you fucking forgot a door gig.
Well, what if I forgot a high guarantee gig? Okay, that's it. I've squeezed enough. I don't know what I was looking for, but I really scared the living daylights out of me.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a good clong, as they say.
But Susan was nice, and I didn't freak out like I would years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because you didn't have to call a travel agent.
Yes, I was. Hello, Gladys.
Gladys, I'm in a jam.
I came up with a good name with
$500. I thought you were good, Gladys.
Gladys, I'm in a jet. If worst came to worst, I would drive, I guess.
Yeah, $500, I would toss that coin. No, I wouldn't.
No, we're not driving.
I like driving. So
you like driving to Phoenix?
Phoenix, I've driven to.
It's not a great drive, though.
No, it's not. Especially if you have to work that night.
Well, especially if I used to say to myself, oh, by the time I get to the thing and into the security and onto the airplane, it's going to be the same amount, but it's never that way. You never.
Well, with Vegas, it is a toss-up to me.
That's true. Vegas, because it's 5.5 hours? No.
It's 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours, 270 miles.
But yeah, no, Phoenix is a little farther, but.
And it's not as fun when you get there. It could be. But I mean, I love the Vegas. You're psyched for gambling. Not you, because
I'm dead inside.
Well, no, you don't swing like me.
I don't.
So that I don't know what's going to happen. I actually need the money. That's good. And then next week we may be doing the movie. That's
what I hear, but I haven't heard. You get bursts of activity that keep you on the hook.
Have you heard from him?
He asked for my SAG
number. Now we're talking.
But haven't heard since.
This is the type of thing that will be like, it could be like Matt Damon going on Jimmy Kimmel. He announces, I'm sorry we didn't have time for Matt Damon tonight.
Could be. Well, just so you know, CJ, I'm having back surgery next month, so I'm out of the equation.
You're having...
After that.
It's all set?
Yes. We talked about it last week. Thanks.
No, we didn't talk about
Thanks for listening.
Wait, your back, was it about your back?
Yes, it was.
This is the kind of thing that makes Susan on the edge of divorce.
I understand now.
Now, but before I seem like a nice guy. So, you have the date?
Yes, I don't want to go. I'm not going to do it again on this. We already went over this last week.
Oh, you didn't give me the
Listen
date.
to last week's show.
Come on. Is it that drastic? How was last week's show?
Oh, God, it was good.
It couldn't be bad.
It was long. It was fine.
Yeah. Well, if it gets...
I mean, not once, Mr. Teppanyaki gets to it.
Once,
I've been editing all week, by the way. I'm not our podcast, but I've been video editing all week.
What are you doing?
I'm doing, it's a little rabbit hole I went down. I have, when I was at Acme, I was talking to Lee, owner of Acme.
Right.
And
for those of you who are new to the podcast,
you may know him from I Need You to Kill, available on Amazon Prime. So he was talking about the interview that we did in Hong Kong, which was basically him telling his life story to camera, which, it's not like Lewis tells his life story to anyone. So he loved that interview because of that, and he wanted his kids to see it.
Oh, that's great.
So I started in.
Is it hard?
Well, I want, what happened, it started with me, at first there was the resistance of like, oh shit,
You have to find the things.
I have to pull out the hard drive from the movie and open up that session again, and it's like, there's a lot of resistance to...
Is this a good time?
It's like opening a vault, kind of,
Is this a good time to say, I don't have a song?
I knew you wouldn't have a song.
Okay. So,
you don't remember a gig.
So first you were, you didn't want to take out the hard drive from the...
So I broke through that thing and was like, all right, hopefully I'll be able to get the session, because there's tech involved, and I'm leery, but if I focus, I can get through it. So I got it all open, and then I was just going to assemble it, take out the breaks,
Yeah.
So first I asked him, and he's like, I'm like, do you want me to just, leave it how you said it, or do you want me to sort of shorten things and resequence some stuff? And he's like, make it so a 16-year-old girl will want to watch it. And I'm like, well, let's see. How much does a 16-year-old girl want to watch her father talking in a hotel room for 2 hours? So now I start in and I start putting some pictures in, and then...
Oh, family pictures and things? Or?
Well, no, just shit I could find, kind of,
Oh, okay.
Comedy stuff. I found a few pictures, and I'm like, well, then it's like the hook's in me, and I'm a documentarian.
All of a sudden, Edward Scissorhands shows up.
Literally, I joined a newspaper archive site to start pulling down clips of all this shit, because like his whole life exists in the Minneapolis newspaper, So
is that LexisNexis? Or?
No, it's like newspapers.com, which unfortunately is one of the arms of Ancestry.com. You can tell why Ancestry.com works because of this software, and it's all newspapers scanned in, but
right.
The Minneapolis Star Tribune and the Minneapolis Star, which preceded it, they're all archived in there. So I can pull out old ads from comedy clubs, and I can pull up,
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So I've, there's been sort of that rabbit hole of just like the history of Minneapolis comedy, and then. But then there's just like this editing of this thing, which has now become a documentary in and of itself. It's not going to be pretty, but it's like, it's going to have like 100 pictures in it.
How long is it going to?
It's probably going to be an hour.
Oh wow!
I'm shooting for an hour. I mean, it's like 2 hours of interview I have.
And how long did you include in the movie? Not too much.
10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So but my fault. What's great about Lewis's life. I mean, part of why this is, there's two things why it's satisfying. One, I opened up my thing and went, oh shit, I have completely forgotten how to run the software. Like 100%. My muscle memory was completely gone from it. And, I'm used to doing the podcast on a different software. So any muscle memory I have fucks me up because I'm hitting the wrong macros. And so I was like, okay, well, good. Now at least I can relearn this software. And then secondly, Lewis's life just like, is this perfect sort of 3-act structure. It really has like this first act setup, second act rise and fall, third act redemption. And it's just, so it's a fun story, even though the spine of it is Chinese man sitting in a hotel room. It's a fun story to kind of illustrate.
Yeah.
And I'm, because he's my friend. And
do you think it could be a part of a documentary?
It could, but
right.
I'm really just like, I'm enjoying the freestyle.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
And I'm not going to,
You're not going to charge him as much as you thought.
At a certain point, I'm going to cut bait.
Yes.
I'm not going to like go through every picture and put it in motion the right exact way, Well,
he's
like,
also
I'm not going to polish it. I'm going to do all the storytelling, but I'm not going to do all the post-production.
What would the polishing be? I don't know anything.
Polishing would be like color correcting, so shots match exactly to when you cut from wide to close up.
So you're not going to go full bore on? Okay,
no.
you're going to. So
no, you want to finance it? Do you want to invest in a movie?
I can't hear from where you are. That came through as if you needed money.
Nah. So it's been fun, but I have been like the last 4 or 5 days. That's been kind of consuming me.
But not in an annoying way, in a fun way.
No, I've been digging it.
See, my thing
I do enjoy this stuff.
Okay, so my thing is sometimes I'll do something and then I'll all of a sudden hate whatever I'm doing 3 days in.
And I could get to that point. Usually, it's kind of like you take apart a washing machine and then you get bored and walk away.
Right.
It's like all the parts are all on the bench. That's how I often do projects. But this one, so far, I'm kind of into it. And because it's been... because I found that gold mine of sources, for $20 membership,
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, now I can really tell the story like I'm, you know.
Yeah. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm usually, you know, I want to be the kind of person who can fully do that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But I tend to never start. But this because, you know, like all my things, if there's someone on the other end to deliver it to, it gives, you know, it's the same reason I go to the trainer twice a week. It's because I have an appointment and I have, you know.
Right. But I used to have, as you know, the Porta Studio, TAC 244, 4-track cassette recording studio, and I took recording engineering at Long Beach City College when I came out to LA.
Right.
So it was always my goal to be able to engineer me writing all these amazing songs.
Right.
And I've never really learned how to do it. I can't even do GarageBand. And that's ridiculous. I could do it. I learn what I'm supposed to learn to put a voiceover in.
Right.
But then the other things, but that's ridiculous, right? I should be able to use.
Well, if it's preventing you from anything.
It is.
You know, it's like write the fucking song first and then worry about how to record it, I say.
Well, that's true too, but I'm talking about just to take in my old stuff.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It should be easy for me to, it inhibits me that I don't have software.
Well, one of our
knowledge.
listeners just wrote us an hour or two ago saying how he used to be a GarageBand instructor or something, and he'll give you advice.
Ooh. I don't know why I made that sound. It's ridiculous.
It was yucky.
It made me feel
Don't
bad.
make it to him when you ask for help.
Now, do you have anything else exciting happen? Well, the back surgery.
That's coming up, yeah.
Is that true? That's happening. Is it true that's happening a week back? That's Mike Rowe.
Uh-huh. And I'm going to the dentist at 2:30.
And is the regular dentist there?
No.
Why?
I don't know.
Someone's filling in.
Okay, thank you. Whew.
But you didn't say tooth hurdy, right? Because that's the insulting Chinese joke.
Yes. No, I didn't. I let it flow. Oh, God.
Then I had another cool thing happen. Wait, are we in the middle of one of your anecdotes?
I don't know. To what was I talking about?
You were talking about how much fun you were having with the thing you're editing for Lewis.
Okay, good.
And if my wife
Now,
was here, she'd
hopefully
go.
you'll retain that.
I would go to my wife, and she was here. I go, and she'd go, no, you don't get congratulated
No, you don't.
for remembering something. She claims I think she's not claiming, but there's some kind of a convenient. My parents used to say,
Well, the things that you seek praise for are low level. Mm-hmm. You know, it's very much like the Chris Rock bit. You know, you're supposed to feed your kids. You know?
oh, I think I almost came out of my shoes the one time I was here at 903. I was like,
Yeah,
whoa.
exactly.
We literally high-fived at my ability to get to someplace on time.
Yeah.
But that's just a character I'm playing, is the fuck-up guy who
I know.
gets a
We're all
gig.
tired of carrying you.
Oh.
That's
too
such
far.
a shiver.
It does send a shiver because that's the big OCD fear. But I had this thing that happened that was pretty cool. Do you know The Fault in Our Stars? You know that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a young adult author. His name is John Green, who wrote that book for that movie, which I happen to see, and I love that movie.
Okay. Do not assign it to me.
No. It's supposed to be for young adults anyway, and so. But then he wrote this book called Turtles All the Way Down.
Yeah.
And it's based on and I just started it, of course.
I've heard of it. But
It's based on his obsessive compulsive disorder, which is a debilitating disease for him, and so he wanted to write about it. Like, in other words, he like the things that he was saying were so similar to me, but I have different ones. But he'd be like, "I'm eating a salad. What if someone bled into this salad?" You know, and then so he talks about. He says he's being interviewed by the guy in 60 Minutes, so he talks about what happens to him when he can't stop compulsively thinking. And the guy goes, yeah, you mentioned that in the book, the thought spiral. So that was so cool. I felt that was a spiritual thing. I believe in those spiritual things. So his thing is the spiral keeps going, and it can't stop, and it's horrible.
Right.
Even if it's getting tinier, it goes on infinitely.
Right.
But my thing was, I like the spiral as an infinity type thing, and I don't like the when I get in a rut.
But an infinity is not. An infinity
know.
is a closed loop.
Right. So what am I doing wrong about? Well, so this thought spiral.
Well, first of all, you don't understand the title of our show.
Well, thought spiral connotes or indicate or implies out of control.
Yes.
So So we picked it because it's a comedy show in a way.
Well,
not a
no, I
comedy.
picked it because of you.
Yeah, but is it always negative? Well, maybe.
Well, I mean, once you get your paws on it, it doesn't exactly go cheery.
Why did I think the Infinity goes with the spiral?
I don't know, but have you seen the logo?
No, you have it's like a
Spiral?
hurricane.
Yeah, a tornado.
A tornado
Or spiral.
coming down.
Yeah, a twister. Destructive spiral.
But all these people, he was quite an amazing segment on 60 Minutes. It was all these people. He's so inspirational to these kids who, it is amazing. Like, I didn't know what I had at all.
Yeah.
So I really did think I was making it up to myself. And when you realize that it's not something you make up, it's quite an amazing feeling. I can't explain it. It's like I felt like I was part of not a cool club, but a club.
Good. I think a lot of people take comfort in the universality of their thing.
Well, yeah, because he was, even there's something he's talking about in the book that because he said that he did very self-destructive behavior. I'm going to read the book, so no spoiler alerts, but he said he had self-destructive behavior, but he even talks about this one thing. He's a girl. The protagonist is a girl in the book, like 16-year-old, but they don't know what you call a teenager. And he said that he would take his finger, his whole life, his thumb, and press it against his middle finger until he would form a callus, and then he would be afraid it got in, and then sometimes it would bleed, and then he would be afraid it would get infected, so he would keep bleeding it. Now, this is stuff I'm not familiar with. It sounds a little almost like cutting stuff.
Right.
So, I'm glad I don't have that, but it must be very, very wonderful for kids who think they're crazy, or anybody who think. I would think the thing I did, thinking I hit somebody in the car, I thought that was crazy.
Right.
So it's weird, and it's so funny.
But it is.
Thank you. No, you're saying it's literally crazy.
Yes. It is mental illness that is causing you to have those thoughts to such an extent.
That's
but
true.
It is a mental illness that you share with many people.
Well, it's a mental illness that when you have it, if I had the germ thing, it would be so obvious. I would have known early on in my life I had it. But because it wasn't it
didn't have a physical manifestation.
No, it was like you literally could have hit something the first time I did it. Yeah. So the fact that it was reasonable in some crazy way meant I kept obsessing. It
wasn't ever reasonable. It was plausible in some crazy way.
No, it was plausible, not reasonable. Yeah. Not reasonable that was me hitting a man who's dead, who's crawling off into the bushes.
Right. And my car also shows no sign of it.
Yeah, and like that sound, and by the time I go around the block, no, he could not have been half dead and dragged off into the bushes. Right. But you know what the other thing is, and I don't want to be somebody who wants sympathy, but I really do.
Clearly
I do. But I do think it's kind of everyone does think that they have OCD or some form of it, but they don't. If you check a couple of things, that's not OCD.
Well, I think
it's a continuum.
It's a spectrum thing.
Yeah, know it.
Like everything is.
I'm never
these
arguing.
days.
I'm never arguing. If you disagree with me,
these kids with the spectrums.
The spectrum. You know what? I like spectrum.
I'm neither here nor there with the spectrums. I'm right here.
Are you on spectrum? Lean forward.
My spectrum goes from here to there. I'm somewhere right near here.
This voice that you're doing right now.
I don't know. It's the bailiff.
It's Rusty. It's not Rusty.
It's what was it? I don't remember.
Bernie
the bailiff. That's right.
Oh, those were the days.
Pay dirt, baby.
Those were the days. Salad days.
Salad days.
I still wake up in the morning and I still can't believe that show didn't get picked up.
Did someone bleed in my salad days?
That is
the kid loves a callback.
I gotta tell you, I made a salad, and this was during my. Did someone bleed in my salad days?
Thank God I'm not crazy. You are fucking crazy. You're just crazy like others.
Like a fox. Why do they say crazy like a fox? I'll curtail this right now. There's nothing to be gained.
Thank you. I think I got your cough already. Though.
Well, is there a fox cartoon? Is there anybody in a cartoon?
There's an Aesop's Fable.
Yeah, but there's nobody like you got your Yogi the Bear. You don't have Freddy the Fox.
There is a fox, I'm sure.
Oh, he knocks on the three kids' door, doesn't he?
That's the wolf.
Oh, okay.
The three kids, it's pigs.
It's pig. There were pigs in the house? Why?
Oh my God! Why are they living there with the three kids? Someone call the authorities.
Are you kidding me? That thing is he goes to the house and there's 3 piggies? That you're making that up. Who was...
Which one has roast beef?
Not I, said Gus the Goose. Not I, said Dick the Duck. Which one's that?
Isn't that the Last Supper with farm animals?
Hey, don't tee me up for...
Could it be me, Farmer John?
Don't tee me up for Life of Brian, because I'm ready to go.
Oh, boy.
We know that's the part of the show that everybody looks forward to.
Oh, God, it's the new sensation. Let's get into it. What the hell? Huh?
Okay.
We just transitioned.
All right, so here's the deal. Here's the deal, see? You want to go first? I always go first, right?
You do always so far.
Would you rather go first?
I'll do whatever you wish.
Let's have you go first this
All
time.
right. This week, I watched Harry and Tonto.
Harry and Tonto.
Harry and Tonto.
A movie.
A movie about a man and a cat.
Yeah.
I liked Harry and Tonto.
I thought you would like Harry and Tonto better than the other choices.
Yes, I think I liked it best of all your homework thus far. The first thing you have to say is, Art Carney deserved an Oscar. He was brilliant in it.
I know.
He had this really nuanced, beautiful performance, and even though he beat out some big names when he won it.
Did he win?
Yeah, he won.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he beat out like Dustin Hoffman and Pacino and Nicholson. Yeah.
Was it best
actor?
Best actor.
Yeah.
I didn't know he won.
Yeah, in 74 or 5. Yeah. So that was great, and it's funny because as a kid, like that's kind of the Art Carney that I knew the best, because I was like, I think the first thing I really paid attention to Art Carney in was like when I was like maybe 9 or 10, and it was Going in Style.
Oh, which I don't think I've seen.
It's a great movie. Well, I don't know if it's a great movie, but it's a worth seeing movie. George Burns, Lee Strasberg, and Art Carney.
Now I feel like I've seen some of it.
They rob a bank. Old men rob a bank.
I have seen that movie, but so long ago.
And it feels a lot. It does in some ways feel like a lot of this movie.
Yeah.
It starts in 70s ugly, horrible New York. It's funny because it's just like, it's no wonder when I first went to New York, I was so intimidated because I had spent the 70s only seeing the filth pit that New York had become in the late 60s and 70s in movies.
Where did he live?
And every movie in New York was about what a shithole New York was at the time,
Did he live in Manhattan, I think, even? Or
no, I don't know where, but he got evicted, and that's what kicked off the movie. And that was, in some ways, that was the least believable thing in the movie, because he's this character who's sort of accepting of everyone he meets and sort of, is flexible with where he goes. So this movie that starts with him, this completely inflexible thing, like, I understand that from a character arc standpoint.
Is the inflexible thing not giving up the cat?
No, the inflexible thing is not leaving the apartment until he's dragged out by the police.
Oh, I don't remember that part. Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of what starts the movie.
I see. That does seem out of character with who he was in the movie a little bit.
And so you never see that jump, It's like he's not a stubborn guy. He has some boundaries, but even those get flexible as the movie goes on.
So you would think he wouldn't have been.
So that didn't ring true with the rest of it, but so what?
Yeah.
You need an inciting incident, and that was it. That's what got him out of his apartment.
And then I remember he went to various relatives.
There's 3 kids. There was sort of a King Lear thing going through it. And he quotes King Lear throughout, just so in case you missed the 3 children trying to please him or not.
I don't know. I don't want to lie to you. I've never seen King Lear. I have no idea what it is. I've never read Hamlet. I was an English literature major.
I know. That's why I thought it might be safe to discuss, because I dropped out to, mock movies with a fucking gumball machine, and I know King Lear. So. But
is King Lear one of the... It's great, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good.
But I wouldn't have known that seeing the movie, that it would have been that it was playing on.
Right. That's why they did the Cliff Notes for you rubes watching it along. So
why would you be a rube when you're watching a movie? You rube. Now you got your $7 out of the.
Oh, there was times where I felt like a rube watching this.
That's true.
No, there was times where it like what I really liked about it is that it sort of tickled up against treacle, but never got all the way there.
Right.
It doesn't go for over sentimentality very often at all.
Although I did cry.
Well, you got to cry.
Yeah.
But if you weren't prepared for let's just say one of the title characters not leaving the movie. They're setting you up for this the whole movie. They say he's an old cat at the beginning. He gives a speech about how he's afraid of pain and doesn't like suffering. So
You mean the cat gave a speech?
yes, it was an amazing speech. And,
amuse myself.
and he's feeding him shit throughout the movie too, and so.
Oh, why is he feeding him? Just because he had no money, right?
Well, just because that's how he lived. He treated him like a roommate.
Yeah, well, you like that? You like that? I remember
they fed him everything, and they made
he ends up in California, right?
Yeah, but it was very much like a lot of 70s movies in that sense of like the 60s is over. It's not about us all loving each other. It's about you, the individual. Save yourself.
Yeah.
Go on your own journey because we can't do it together anymore. It seems like
It's bittersweet type of.
and Harold and Maude. It's like
It reminded me of Harold and Maude.
Well, Harry is kind of Harold and Maude.
Yeah, that's true. He's an old woman in it.
Because it's kind of a youth movie, cloaked as an age movie. Superficially, it's about the old, you're as young as you feel, kind of that thing. But that's not.
It's not selling that.
It's not selling that. It's a story of this individual guy.
I always felt like when I watched him on the Honeymooners, which I watched as a little kid, even though it scared me as a small child, the music scared me for some reason. But then I fell in love with that. I always loved those characters like. And Don Knotts is this way too, where they're very vulnerable.
Yeah,
and that's what I love about even on. I can cry from Honeymooners episodes. When they're having an argument.
Yeah,
or
he's a great actor, and he didn't, and they gave him a couple of moments, and they were almost the least true moments in the movie where he got drunk, where he got to do kind of some Art Carney shtick, some Norton shtick,
right?
And it wasn't. You didn't
need it.
It was the comedy was all pretty gentle in the movie that when it got clownish, it didn't bend that well with it, but they didn't spend that much time on it. And that's the thing I liked. There was some contrivances, but they were blazing through them,
Yeah.
He gets picked up by cops and he's fucking in jail with an Indian, and
right.
That's the scene. There's not a bunch of bullshit. They don't stretch it out. They don't make the stakes too high, And then the scene with the Indian guy is great. The medicine man in the jail. One of the funniest scenes in the movie.
I don't remember that scene.
Of course not.
I saw it in the movie theater when it came out. How's that possible?
1974?
Oh, yeah. It was senior year of high school.
Yeah, I'll give it to you to watch if you want.
I would like to watch it again.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it in 40 years.
I haven't watched. No, I watched it when it came out, and I watched it 20 years later. Because that's how I knew it was great.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the other thing is, for people who are going to watch this movie, it's not like you're amazed at Art Carney, but how easy the comedy is and how low key but amazing he is. You don't expect it when you first watch the movie. I don't know what I expected.
No, but it's the story of this guy who's on the path to Zen, essentially. And so everything is contained within his performance. It's not a showy performance at all,
It's like Five Easy Pieces would be another movie that would be similar to this.
Another one of those celebrate the individual movies.
I cut you off there.
Yeah, but I can't go back because I don't know what I was going to say. So, Larry Hagman is in the movie as his California son, and it's and really short. He's got 5 minutes of movie, but he does great. I've never seen Larry Hagman act quite that well.
Yeah, although I think I liked him in. What could I have liked him in? Just Genie? Is that
or Dallas?
Oh, Dallas. I never watched Dallas. Did you?
No.
Yeah. Susan watched it. She said it was pretty. It was like a good evening soap opera.
It was a soap opera,
yeah,
but it wasn't well acted.
Who directed the movie?
Mazursky.
See, I didn't know that. Maybe I knew that at one time. I
think you did because you mentioned Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
That's right, yeah.
But it was a nice movie, and I would recommend it to anyone, especially if you're an Art Carney fan. But if you're an Art Carney fan, you've seen Tonto. I mean, what else?
I finally scored. I mean, it's no skidoo.
It is no skidoo.
Yeah, so I watched The Life of Brian, and okay. So first of all, the movie's extremely funny. They're very funny. And you can imagine the premise is still shocking to me.
All right.
So, but it's shocking because I'm Jewish. I wouldn't even know how to parody I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, now I know more about Jesus from Jesus Christ Superstar, but they were parodying so many.
You would have done the Inquisition. What a show, the Inquisition.
You know me,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like shocking, and I mean, you can imagine it must have caused trouble, right?
Yeah, it got some trouble in its day.
Because it's just, it is by definition making fun of blasphemy in a way. You know, it's like they're playing around with the whole idea that you can, like there's one scene where, I think one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen is when they're stoning the guy.
Yeah.
It's just, who is that actor? He's got long hair, he's older.
I can't remember.
They start stoning, and then John Cleese, he starts talking about, you know, they're stoning him because he said the word Jehovah or something like that. He used the word Jehovah. And he goes, I don't see what's so wrong about it. So anyway, it ends up with them pelting John Cleese with rocks. It doesn't play when you talk about it.
Right.
But it's so funny. And
but it was mob jokes, angry mob jokes, essentially.
Yeah, and angry mob jokes, and a lot of jokes like where they would do a joke about running through. Like, I don't remember that in movies as much, but like you could tell they're making fun of scenes where soldiers walk through someplace,
right.
and they just could hear the sound of them walking through and then backing out. And I don't know, I thought they were doing something. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't one of the big jokes of the movie.
No, but they were just like, but you could tell that they were parodying things that were based on old movies in a lot of ways.
Centurion movies. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's the thing is, I would never have thought that this movie would have been something I could have enjoyed. And I see why I didn't want to watch it, but then part of me was like, why don't I want to watch it? I don't like to watch period things sometimes.
Yeah.
But why? Why am I resistant to it?
Well,
Because it could be terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, for 40 years, I would imagine almost every conversation you had a positive review of this movie. If it
That's
came
true.
out.
No, nobody ever said stay away from it.
Right.
And the scene with the everything was pretty amazing when the wise men came at the beginning. That scene. And a lot of comedy that I realized I was influenced by, although I think I must have seen The Great American Dream Machine, or I must have seen Fawlty Towers, and I must have seen bits of different things over the years, but didn't have a
Great American Dream Machine.
Monty Python was first shown on PBS when I saw it on a show called The Great American Dream Machine.
Oh, okay.
And they would package Monty Python things.
Gotcha.
But I never was an expert on it. I always loved John Cleese, but now I realize I'm very influenced by their comedy in a way, because he goes, next time, not so much frankincense, more myrrh, you know.
Right.
And that kind of comedy, I feel like, is a part of me. I love that kind of thing where it's just complete wordplay.
Yeah.
Hey, next time, leave the heavy on the frankincense.
Well, Python stuff is on Netflix now. And so they've just dumped a bunch of stuff on there. You should watch.
I will watch.
You totally should, because just because you'll laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And B, because, you know, come on, you're a comedian. It's Monty Python. Get hip.
Well, no, but you see, I would be perfectly open, as you know, to not liking it, because I didn't like Caddyshack that much.
Well, yeah, but Caddyshack doesn't hold up.
This one holds up, except, excuse me, one thing I was thinking, I don't know how any of those movies could ever be popular here. I'm talking about The Office, the original Office, which I loved, and this movie, because you can't understand what the hell they're saying. I mean, it's really hard. You have to turn the soundtrack. And I would think that British people spoke more clearly, but they're doing all these dialects, like crazy dialects or impressions.
Yeah.
Because Susan and I couldn't figure out what they were. We had to keep going back.
Yeah.
You think I'm getting old? I'm losing my...
It might be a little of that. I don't remember the big...
And they always...
I might also be, you know, I'm very tuned into Monty Python rhythm and language. You know, I'm used to hearing them talk quite a bit, you know.
I love those big crowd scenes where, okay, so Brian comes out to read the people, and they say, would you like to see this? And then they yell, the whole big crowd yells back these things.
Unison, yeah.
So I don't usually like when men are dressed up as like women. I don't know where it came from. It doesn't do much for me, but the kids in the hall did good with it.
Right.
And
well, it came from antiquity.
Oh, it did?
It is always, yes, for centuries, men played women in the theater.
And there were jokes about that, too, in the movie, about the role of women. You could tell they were joking.
Yeah.
There's a whole scene where he goes, his self or herself. Himself, where he corrects him every time he says, for himself or herself. And they do. So there was a lot of issues that they were.
Well, they were working out issues of being British schoolboys, too, and being corrected by over officious teachers and headmasters. And, there's that scene where he's graffitizing.
That was so great.
And the centurion starts correcting his grammar as his Latin.
It's so good. And he has to write it 1,000 times on the wall.
Yeah.
I will say the only thing that bothered me in the movie, in fact, I had to turn off the movie with 10 minutes left because Susan couldn't take it anymore. It just was so loud. And
it's because you turned it up all the fucking way.
Yeah, that was a mistake. But I saw the movie A Fish Called Wanda, and for some reason, it's the same thing I feel about the Warner Brothers cartoons. They do so much speech impediment humor that I actually find it like insulting in a way, or I can't get past it.
Yeah.
It just seems like I can't get out of feeling like I know people could talk that way. And there's a one scene where they just keep going on and on and on, where it's like someone's playing Caesar.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't even know what the joke is. He's like, and it just gets to the point where they're making fun of the one guy stuttering.
All right.
Which is also in A Fish Called Wanda.
Yes.
And it bothers me there, too. What is your take? I wanted to know.
It's one of those things that doesn't hold up, but I had no problem really with it at the time,
Yeah.
Well, Fish Called Wanda, I knew it was cruel to portray a stutterer that way.
Right. Did they know it was cruel,
I'm
or
sure,
did they not care?
But that's part of what makes Monty Python is the willingness to offend the easily offended.
Is that how I see? I never knew that was. I thought they were more like taking on. I don't know what. I didn't know that much about
You
them.
clearly aren't a scholar.
Well, I know the other movie, but the other movie's more
what's
the
it
Knights
called?
of Ni.
Yeah.
With the Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay, good. You are a scholar.
It's not. That's not that different from The Life of Brian. They both sound like biblical movies. Just don't say anything. That could be my
The
best.
meaning of life also sounds like that too, if you're taking it that way.
Okay. Oh, okay. So what am I messing up now? There's a third movie?
There's more than that, but yeah.
I think I've seen The Meaning of Life.
Probably.
That's not the one with the knights, though, right?
No, that's Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
And I was telling Susan, there's another movie called The Meaning of Life, and we both agreed there's no way a group could have two movies, one called The Life of Brian and the one called The Meaning of Life. We didn't think it was possible.
Really?
Yeah, because it's all, they've
Damn, I can't believe I wasn't there for that conversation.
These sound interesting because I recorded it. I have a constant microphone on Susan.
Yeah, that's good.
I also, is this wrong? I pay a private detective to report.
That way we can find the black box of your marriage.
The other thing I wanted to say was, I kind of didn't want to watch this movie for many years, if I want to be honest about it.
Yeah.
Because I started to become so soured on comedy about atheism or comedy that mocks religion because of the new atheists, and also because even David Cross, who I love, I never liked any comedian's atheist bits that I've heard, because they're all like, hey, let me get this straight. There's a sky wizard. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it was always the easiest way to go was but that's not what the movie is at all.
Not at all. No.
Not at all.
And that's what they there's some brilliant clips of them debating the movie with offended people that are on YouTube worth seeing, but
it's interesting though that I didn't, not even for 1 second did I have that reaction, because it was so funny what they were doing. They were making fun of the lack of intellectuality, not the.
Yes. They weren't making fun of faith itself. They were making fun of the way that people assign their faith without thinking.
Yeah, and in fact, the one woman, I don't know who that woman is. Do you? There's a woman in the movie.
Carol Cleveland, let's say.
And so, No, she says the message is you don't need those people. Trust yourself. You know what I mean? You don't need to have a God or whatever.
Right.
And to me, that's so different. And somebody told me, maybe you explained this to me before too, that those guys have such a knowledge of what they're making fun of.
Right.
It's like David Cross. Wasn't raised. He was, first of all, he was raised Jewish.
Right.
So it's very hard to be raised Jewish and to do. Well, you can make fun of religion generally, but they obviously knew all these things that I have no memory of. You know, I didn't understand. It taught me stuff too.
That's good.
You know, so I was very happy with that. They aren't like you can't figure them out sometimes. You know what I mean? There's so many of them. It was like 5, 6.
6 at its peak.
Terry Gilliam, Terry Jones.
That's 2.
Graham Chapman, Michael Palin, John Cleese. Who am I forgetting?
Eric Idle.
Oh yeah, and they're all. I mean, that's maybe the most amazing group. Not that I know that much about them, but the fact that how difficult it must have been.
Well, they dumped some docs, Monty Python docs, onto Netflix too.
It's also there's a doc on here too.
Is there?
But you think these are more recent ones? Maybe,
yeah, there's worth seeing. I mean, I think that they're totally worth a dive into because there's just some all-time brilliant shit.
Oh yeah,
all time.
The Argument Room,
which is a fantastic sketch.
Still kills me. But
Allison shows that to her students when they start talking about.
You can't just have an argument by saying the opposite of what I'm saying. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. I mean, that one. He goes into a lot of different rooms, too, in that bit.
No, he just goes into 2, but...
Oh, the insult room is the first one?
This is abuse. You're looking for arguments, yeah.
So, I used to be so confused as a kid. I actually thought that was Fire Sign Theater, that one bit.
Oh, yeah.
And now I realize I don't know any of what they do.
Fire Sign Theater is a weird blind spot to me.
Yeah, I don't even...
Because I don't know. There's something so... honky about what they do to me. It's like I sort of equate Fire Sign Theater and Zappa fans, kind of. There's this sort of arrogance to being a fan of them that I never cared about penetrating. And there was a lot of Mystery Science Theater. All those guys were into it. I never was. But so there's lots of references that get sprinkled into the show. But
he makes you. Did he ever make you laugh, Zappa? I think he's really.
Yeah, no, I love Zappa. You know, and I'm sure I'd love plenty of Fire Sign Theater.
No, that's
too.
the thing. I'm wondering.
I've heard some of it.
Okay,
it's funny.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. It's not my. You know, it's very generational. It's very much the same way old National Lampoon was generational, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know
it's very
much
Gen
about
X. It's very. It's very baby boomer.
Now the Lampoon. When you say the Lampoon, are you talking about the magazine, the Lampoon?
The National Lampoon. Yeah.
But then they started to make the movies, which was Vacation.
Well, they had all sorts of ancillary things. They had the radio shows,
Animal House,
stage shows. But before Animal House, when they were doing the magazine, they had Lemmings, and they had all these stage shows and albums and live things that they did.
Who did the Ruddles?
Ruddles was Eric Idle.
That was so. Bruce, my manager, showed me about the Ruddles, and they really cracked me up.
Yeah,
and I love seeing Harrison in the movie.
Yeah, well, he financed Life of Brian.
Well, because I know Handmade Films was his.
Yeah, he refinanced his house to give them the money for that, because, as legend would have it, because I wanted to see it.
That is pretty fucking cool. But we know when the Beatles broke up that John Lennon and McCartney had a lot of money from the songwriting royalties, but I don't think Harrison and Ringo Starr had that much money. And I know they got screwed on their publishing, too, to some degree, Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah.
So, but I thought George Harrison was making a lot of, I don't know, maybe my image is like people have an image of people on TV. You could see how he could struggle, but he had All Things Must Pass and all these.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure it was a cash flow thing, you know.
Yeah. He was, he must have been very funny, I think. I like that documentary about George Harrison, that Martin Scorsese
one.
Yeah, I mean, I just always loved him so much that, but I always think of him as being as funny as those guys, or I think of all the Beatles as being as funny as.
Well, I think that's why we love them. Yeah.
Yeah. I was pretty fond of the Monkees too, to be honest with you.
I mean, I was fond of the Monkees before I was fond of the Beatles. That's how it came. That's how I got the information.
Yeah. Well, I'm reading this book about Laurel Canyon. I just so many interesting things. Like David Crosby, he went out for the Monkees. Or no, I think Stephen Stills went out.
Stills, yeah.
Yeah, and then he recommended either Nesmith or Torque. And those were pretty good. They were pretty good singers, and they had their own like.
Well,
bands.
Nesmith had a somewhat of a musical career before it.
Oh, he did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I remember the elephant parts or TV parts. Or,
No, but before the Monkees, he was a solo guy, and he had he was in that the country rock scene that you're talking about, liking.
Yeah, with Flying Burrito Brothers and
Yeah, that kind of scene.
yeah.
Again, YouTube, baby.
I'm going to see all these things now. It's very exciting.
Someday.
What are we going to do for next? I didn't think about what we're going to assign for next week. Have you thought of it?
I honestly haven't, so we'll think of that during the break.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, why should we subject these people to
Exactly.
that?
Speaking of breaks, should we take one?
So where are we going to go this week in the magical world?
Let's do, remember that song that got lost in the aborted show? Or not the aborted show so much, but the show that didn't record?
I don't remember it. You want to play that again?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This
is the one that you got annoyed with at the end.
Yeah, and I'll get annoyed with it again tonight, but at least I'm prepared. This is a song I wrote with Scott Pinkerton. And like the other couple that I played, we pretty much just like wrote a song so we could record a song. And I wrote something that I thought, I just wanted it to sound young and dumb. Like Green Day, Young and Dumb was sort of my take on it. But you can tell it's really old because I use references like phone unplugged from the wall and something on the dial when I referred to TV. So this is 1994, I'm going to say. No, I'm going to say 1992.
Well, the thing that I loved about it the last time you played it was that when you did get annoyed, you got annoyed like everybody who's ever written a song at some point. You just can't stand hearing yourself.
I hate myself. But I kind of wrote, it was kind of meant to be like you were annoyed by the narrator. But, so this is called Indecision.
I like that. I don't know how I feel about that name.
She left again last night, another in a string of fights. She said, I can't commit, I guess it's true. She might come back to me, it could be destiny. Until then, I just don't know what I'll do. She gets frustrated, so irritated, when I can't decide which way to go. She's so demanding, not understanding, might as well be waiting for Godot. Indecision, indecision, indecision is the key. Indecision, indecision is the key to flexibility. I stare at my TV, hope that it comforts me. The answer's probably somewhere on the dial. Phone's unplugged from the wall. Don't want to take the call. I'd rather put it off another while. When I have problems, so hard to solve them. Don't know why it takes so long. When I have choices, start to hear voices. Don't want to end up being wrong. Indecision, indecision, indecision is the key. Indecision, indecision is the key to Indecision is the key. Indecision. Indecision. Indecision is the key. It's the key. Indecision. Indecision is the key to flexibility.
All right. I remember liking that. There's got an Elvis Costello feel.
Is the chorus definitely has an Elvis
The
Costello
Indecision
progression?
part, yeah, right.
And like the verse is kind of Green Day-ish.
Right. But
And the combination is atrocious.
no. The only note, it's like,
It needs a bridge real bad.
no, the fact that you were upset about it, I can't get it out of my mind, that look on your face.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to it, trying to feel.
From the first time?
Yeah,
you mean?
trying to hear and the only thing I would say is it just goes on a long time.
Yeah, that's why it needs a bridge to break it up. So when you come back to the third verse, it's not like, again. Oh, God.
But one thing I will say, though.
And you rhymed lazy and crazy, really. even as a lazy song.
Oh, boy, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Oof.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Ooh, that's lazy.
Yeah, but you know what line I love? Because this is how I feel. Like, I don't know what you exactly were saying about this, but this is what I feel like is my weak point as a person, is indecision masking itself as flexibility.
Right. It's actually, I have to credit my brother with the phrase. It was a phrase
okay.
he used in college.
Indecision? Or
Indecision is the key to flexibility.
Wow. Now, what was the context? Because the way I think of it is like, it's a way
He
to.
meant it as a joke.
As a joke, yeah, you
Meaning
could
that
cop to it.
if you don't decide, then you can always decide.
Yeah. And that's how I feel sometimes. My life has been where I'm like, don't take a stand on something, or don't, or can talk myself out of things, or talk myself into a position of like, well, don't, you're too cool to make a decision or something.
Right. Well, it's an LA affliction too.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who do not like to commit to anything because something better might come along,
That's exactly true.
And the other thing that they do is commit to things and then don't show up.
That's true.
Everyone's coming till they're not coming.
Yeah, that's always agonizing when I commit to it. I mean, I've done that myself. I've been on all sides of this issue.
Yeah.
But my favorite song about L.A., I think, is Stupefaction by Graham Parker.
My favorite is probably My Life is Good by Randy Newman.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That is a great song.
Yeah.
But he says in the...
He's such a big old thing. He hurts the other children.
What album is that off of? Little Criminals? No.
No, it's from... it's the one with I Love L.A. and a couple other good ones.
If you ever get... I mean, some people I don't think have heard the actual song Sail Away.
Yeah. In America, you get food to eat. Don't have to run through the jungle and scuff up your feet.
I mean, first of all, you could listen to that song 8 times and not know what he's singing about.
Right.
But then when you know what he's singing about...
It's a sales pitch to slaves.
It's a sales pitch to slavery. It's unbelievably sad, but it's also unbelievably... It's just amazing how he's able to capture the whole feel of America, Like in its...
Yeah. Well, when you're fucking willing to go out on the irony limb...
Yeah.
Amazing things can happen, but it's pretty brave to do it.
Well, I could never have written that song with the Redneck song. I could never have. You couldn't write that song.
Trouble in Paradise was the name of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the Redneck song.
You couldn't write that.
You can't write that.
And it's good maybe that you couldn't, but it's like the bravery of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's unbelievable. I don't think there's any writer more brave for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like he's not saying, "Oh, I'm going to shock you with this." He's just so plugged into the.
Well, yeah, it's just you feel it in the singing that he's willing to stand behind it. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't even challenge it because it's like, why would you challenge Randy Newman? You're gonna lose.
Right. And
it's like he always says, I never disliked short people until after the song.
That's really great. But even my favorite line is like college men from LSU went in dumb, come out dumb too.
Hustling around Atlanta in the alligator shoes.
Getting drunk every weekend.
Getting drunk every weekend at the barbecues. And they're keeping the
Are you Charlie Callis at the end?
keeping the That was our one of the great cinematic Titanic jokes was, and people still talk about it in cinematic Titanic circles. But we did this blaxploitation movie, and the N-word was in it, and we didn't take it out, and so we commented on the fact that they were using it. And so we're about to do a show. The first time we had done this movie live, and we're in San Francisco, I think. And I walk in, and Trace and Joel are talking, and they're like, "I'm like, what's wrong?" It's like, "I'm still not happy with the nigger joke we have here." I'm like, "Well, let's talk about it." And so I came up with the idea.
Who wasn't happy?
I think Trace was the one who was saddled with jokes that he thought was kind of weak tea.
Right.
But I can't remember. But it was, we always were. We were always tinkering. You would tinker with stuff like up until the time you said it in the show.
Right.
Because you'd say a line, and then your next line is 4 lines away, and you go, so you're already going, is this a good line I have coming up or a So, and if it's a mediocre line, you're trying to rewrite it up until you say it, just in case you can find it, the thing that's going to make it a little better.
And you can always change it, right? Nobody cares when
no
you
one
change
cares.
it?
Once, we did this assigning process, and I was kind of the final, everyone would do a pass at it, and then I would be the final guy who would lay it out and punch it up and do all the final pass. But then once the jokes went back to everybody, it was their
whatever they want to do.
Yeah, it's your slot. Do what you want with it, as long as you don't step on the next person's joke, or and a lot of times it'd be, hey, I need a better joke here. Hey, I need a better joke here. But it was always
nobody would.
Yeah, I mean, I was the spot welder guy who would add the jokes where there was holes, but. Like I said, once the jokes went back to everybody, it was yours.
It was free reign.
You were responsible to produce each joke, But it's we're right before the show, and we're working on the river joke, and so I my idea was that, okay, why don't we just all 5 of us in unison do a spit take when the word hits. And so that
was like, is there a mean guy in the movie who uses the word?
Yeah, he's like a bad, evil cop.
Oh, okay.
And one of our heroes is in the back of the seat, and so is in the back of his squad car, and he says it. And so
that must have been.
It was one of the biggest laughs I've ever been a part of.
Who had to say the word?
Well, none of us did. The guy in the movie did.
Oh, that's right.
As soon as you hear the word, all 5 of us just go. And we all take sips of the water, surreptitiously while it's happening. So
who's the one who? But was there no joke before he goes, "I'm not happy with it"? You didn't have anything.
Well, he had some. It was just someone going. I don't remember what the joke. It was something soft, like
nice guy.
The equivalent of "that's not cool," But so
that is so funny.
But yeah, it was one of the funnest jokes to do, just because. It was shock and release in the same instant,
And you didn't know how it would go until. Well, I could see how you would when you come up with an idea.
Yeah,
it's got
everyone went, yeah, let's do that.
Was that the only movie that you did that had horrible language in it like that?
Pretty much. I mean, there was some stuff we cut out along the way. There's, sexual violence stuff that we trimmed out just because it's such a downer in a theater full of 1,200 people.
Yeah, it's better. Cheesy is better than horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, it's skirted the line. There's some of those movies just have, no decency whatsoever. But
some of these movies, it's like when I would do a cartoon dump, I just can't even believe that there was enough footage of things to have these projects. Because they're so terrible.
Right.
Some of those cartoons in the cartoon dump.
They were, but think of them as like the equivalent of home repair show. It was just TV filler of its day. It's like we have a half hour a day to fill and X amount of money. And if we do it good, we're not going to make any of that X.
Well, the thing that's amazing about it is when you think about it, just when you think about how long there's been moving pictures, it's really not that long.
Right.
And how long they, all of a sudden, they're like okay, now we're on TV now, and it's my show, and it's really starting from scratch.
Right.
I mean, it came from vaudeville and different things, but I'm sure there were, and I'm sure a lot of it
radio with a camera for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of it was radio with a camera. But it's unbelievable because people were making fun of the format of TV. There were some people who wouldn't touch it, right? They're like movie actors made fun of him.
Well, I mean, it was an actor's ghetto until really like the 90s.
And I never would have known that because I grew up on it. And it's like,
right.
There was nothing else.
No, as a kid, you don't weigh one as better than the other. And in fact, TV is probably better than movies because they pipe it right into your home.
Well,
you don't have to ask for a ride.
There used to be a campaign that was going on from people who were trying to stop cable. And it was kept saying, keep free TV, save free TV.
Right.
And so they were like, if you had cable, no one would ever go to the movie theaters again, is what they were thinking, or something like that.
Well, it was going to kill networks. That was when you say keep free TV, it's because the people. Right. They were worried that there was no longer going to be a choice.
I don't know what their thinking was then, because you pay for the why would the pay limit your choices?
It would limit your choices of free things.
Oh, that's right. Now you got to pay for this stuff. Oh, now you got to pay for ABC or whatever. So it was like the first time.
They were saying it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
If you have to pay for TV, then soon we're all going to have to pay for all TV.
Well, that's, it's just that.
I mean, I can't put myself in the mind of a 1975 TV protester, but I think that's where they're coming from.
I think you got them down. But the other thing is that it's not that far off when you think of, I've probably paid $80,000 in my life so far for cable.
Yeah, probably right around there.
It is better though now. For some reason, it seems
it's still
like
a better deal than $500 to go to Phoenix. But
look at your face! Look at your sad, serious face. It's making me laugh. I love that voice.
I don't know who it was. It was a new character.
Are you gonna cut out every cough or just go with it?
I'm really getting tired of it.
I have cancer.
Well, I'm
coma.
tired of your cancer.
I have cancer coma lung disease. I have emphysema cancer. Folks, we'll be back with more hilarious cancel bits. Okay, I'm sorry.
This is taking a long time, this show, that we haven't started.
No, but last week it was too long.
Yeah. Well,
I'm too funny.
Maybe that's it.
Let's go to the questions.
All right, let's do it.
If we didn't have questions and movies to see, we wouldn't be doing the show. No, I'm telling you, you came up with that idea. I don't know why you don't get more cut of the profits. Am I going to get to assign you Eddie and the Cruisers ever, or you've seen it?
On the dark side. Hey, on the dark side.
And also, the best line, words and music, man.
Words and music, man. Oh, that was speaking of the line is in Harry and Tonto. I think the line that summed it up is he was on the phone with his oldest son, who's all freaked out that he's now in Arizona somewhere with his nephew and this runaway girl, and you only hear Harry's side of the conversation, and he just goes, "Life is confusing. We're just trying to get through it."
Yeah,
that's kind of the whole movie right there.
Was that a phone booth?
Yeah.
I love phone booths.
Phone booths are good. That's dead art, the phone booth.
People don't know that you used to be able to have a locker in there and you could keep things in there. Now, that was funny because of how quick it came out, right?
It was good, yeah. And it was very left field. Yeah. It came running in from left field.
Oh, I remember. You had your own phone booth.
It came in from the bullpen on a golf cart.
That joke came in on a silver platter.
Guy Incognito says The Big Lebowski was actually based on a real character that the Coens knew, Jeff Dowd, who once did a meet and greet at a minor league baseball game and snubbed me from meeting him by leaving to get a cocktail.
That's pretty terrible.
Not very dude-like. That said, favorite Coen film?
You know what's interesting? I was with, I'm not name dropping, but you know George Meyer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a friend
of
mine.
We talked about him last week.
What's that?
We talked about him last week.
Oh, okay. And he was telling me he didn't, and he was telling me, I said, do you like, and he's his partner's Maria Semple, and she's a YA writer too and writes scripts. But I said, do you like the Coen Brother movies? And he said, have we talked about this part?
No.
He said that he loved some of them, but he didn't love them all. And I realized that I do have mixed feelings about their movies, but maybe that's why they're great or something. I mean, they're always trying something completely new.
Yeah, no, I think they swing and miss.
Like, I didn't like Country for Old Men at all.
I like No Country for Old Men a lot.
Oh, that's that one.
I didn't, there's times where they're, the remake of the British heist movie was bad. I can't think of what it's called.
Oh. Wasn't there one about a business or
and
like
the Hudsucker Proxy.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that too much.
I liked half of it.
Yeah, I like Barton Fink.
Barton Fink is great. I mean, I liked a lot of Hudsucker Proxy, but it doesn't hold together the whole movie. I mean, I think the one that I have probably just the most deep love for is Raising Arizona.
Yeah, I think so.
The one that hooked me. That was the first one I saw. I didn't see Blood Simple for several years.
I don't remember Blood Simple. I know I've seen it, and
it's good.
And I loved Raising Arizona when it first came out.
But I loved Raising Arizona was one of those cable movies that I watched a million times and could recite at a certain point, and I was always just mystified by the fact that these two Jewish guys from my suburb in Minnesota made that movie.
Yeah,
and that's true of a lot of their movies,
Serious Man. No.
Well, Serious Man is about Sands Park, Minnesota. So
yeah.
No, I was thinking of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I didn't like that movie.
It's like a million miles
Did you
away
love
from
that?
my experience. I did. I really did.
Well, wait a second. No Country. I was thinking, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou was No Country with All Men.
Okay.
What's the one with all the country songs in it?
That's Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Yeah.
I have no memory of that movie, but I need to see it again. I was just amazed at how much I love The Big Lebowski, but I realized that I don't know what I'm trying to say, but they are like, there's highs and lows, but nobody makes movies like they do, where they kind of play with the reality of you getting involved in the movie sometimes.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, it's like, that's Big Lebowski. There's a character that, who's the guy in, Spike Lee movies? He was in Do the Right Thing, and he's like plays a racist guy. John Turturro.
Yeah. Who was also Barton Fink.
Okay,
and
that's
he was
right.
Also in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And
yeah. So he's in the Lebowski as this like a
right.
bowling guy,
right? Disco bowling.
And there's this one scene where he comes back. Goes, I'm going to do. It could have been horrible, or it could have been hilarious, and it was hilarious,
right?
And so it was like they really committed to those things.
Yeah, I mean, what I admire so much is the bigness that they get away with. Mm-hmm. That still remains somehow dramatically true.
Yeah.
And part of it's just great actors. They always use great actors who are fully committed to whatever choice they've made or have been made for them, But I have huge admiration for a lot of what they've done.
And if you think about it, when they do things like, I find P.T. Anderson ultimately hard to watch after a while, because when he has the actors do weird things, it seems like over the top. What's it called when you're like, not treacly, but when you're like melodramatic type things.
Scenery chewing.
Yeah. Whereas the Coen brothers, I mean, I like that movie, Roman. It was like just recently made. Where?
Hail Caesar.
Yeah. Hail Caesar.
Yeah.
So, they have people do things that are odd, but it's not like so 0 to 60 like P.T. Anderson does.
Right.
So you always have to admire. They're directing.
My kind of rule of thumb is it's just like with directors, it's like if you've made 5 really good movies, you're great.
Yeah,
as far as
there's
I'm
no
concerned.
question.
If you've made 5 really great movies,
that's why you told me Christopher Columbus is so good.
Right, because of the Home Alone movies.
His name, it can't be Christopher Columbus, right?
It's Chris Columbus.
No, but why is that his name? You can't name yourself Chris Columbus.
Why was Albert Brooks named Albert Einstein at first?
Well, what did he change it to? He says, father, thanks, Dad.
Right.
I'm sure you had a good time. It's like Moon Unit when she...
Well, his dad was a vaudevillian. What do you want?
I wish I could have seen his dad live. I've never seen his dad.
There is a tape of
him dying?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, there is a tape I heard. I think one of our listeners.
Audio.
There's
right?
audio of his Lucy and Desi roast set that he died at.
That's how I want to go out. I know my phone won't like it, but I want to go out after a joke doesn't work on a...
You will. He killed, by the way.
That night?
Yeah, it wasn't like he had a bad set and died. He had a fucking killer set and then went and sat down and died.
Oh, it wasn't during his... When he went back, right. And then I think they shut down the show.
They did, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So we didn't... So I guess just in terms of my love Raising Arizona is my favorite Coen film.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best Coen film, but it's
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's the one I have the most just
Holly Hunter, right?
True affection, yeah.
So funny. And you know what? You're talking about that movie, because Nick Cage is in that movie, Nicolas Cage. But then there's also those movies, like you said, you watched something a million times. I don't know, we were talking about
Raising Arizona.
Okay, so then there's those Honeymoon in Vegas. That's a pretty good movie. Am I mixing it up?
Well, that's Nicolas Cage. It has nothing to do with the Coen brothers.
No, but it's a quirky movie from that same time period, kind of. Oh, shut up. There's a scary one where, is it Ray Liotta where somebody kills Nicolas Cage, or he tries to kill him. What I Did Last Night, or About Last Night, or no? This is great. This is a great show.
There was a Jonathan Demme movie where Ray Liotta tries to kill Jeff Daniels.
That's it.
Something wild.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Was Nicolas Cage. That was an amazing movie.
Love
Scary.
that movie. Love that. Well, not only scary a little, but
right.
Mostly great.
Ray Liotta is pretty scary. I mean,
he was scary in that movie.
And Jeff Daniels, I never want to like him, but he's sometimes good.
Yeah. Yeah, I go case by case.
He was great in terms of endearment. He was perfectly that person.
Right. That was his first big one, I think.
Yeah, that movie stays with me all the time.
Yeah, well, it's pretty intense.
Because it shows like the younger kid can't deal with it. Like he can't even be nice to his mother.
Yeah.
And that really, I relate to that type of thing. Not because my mother, you couldn't love her.
Andy, please. She's a Quaker.
Hey.
She's a Parkinson's.
Tell me, ask me if my mother eats oats a lot.
Hey, does your mother eat oats a lot?
She's very sick.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I rescind my question.
She's very sick. And she's a member of a wonderful group.
Love Brambles asks, Pop-Tarts, cold, toasted, somewhere in between?
I've never liked them.
No?
But I have enjoyed them.
Sure.
And I like this thing that Kashi makes, where it's like a breakfast thing, but you don't put it in a toaster, and it's got a little strawberry in there.
So it's like a breakfast bar, if you will.
Yeah. If you will.
Yes. I think a Pop-Tart at its best, of course, is toasted.
Yes.
But as sort of just like army ration kind of food.
You can't eat it without toaster.
Yeah, you can.
No,
sure you can.
please don't.
Oh, yes, you can.
Please don't.
I used to take it to camp with me.
Why don't you stock up on snow cones? Did you like those? These coconut ones?
No.
No, I'm mixing up stuff. Snowballs.
Yeah.
Snowballs.
Yeah, because keeping snow cones at camp would be crazy.
I saw the second episode of Camping. I might be done.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. My DVR hasn't gone.
There's a couple. I mean, this is fun.
I'm waiting for my DVR to go. You should watch all these.
I mean, there's funny things in it, but it's weird.
Weird enough, Patented Phil says, suggestion for homework, the Hudsucker proxy, which we talked about.
Yeah. That's John Goodman's a big, he's like a businessman, that one, or is that Barton Fink?
Well, no, in Barton Fink, he's basically the devil. But
I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't love Barton Fink. Why do I lie and tell you that I loved that movie?
Yeah.
I'm telling you I loved it because I'm supposed to have loved it.
Right.
I think it was funny, but there were a lot of things that hit me, and I think I need to see it again because I wasn't used to watching movies like that before.
Yeah.
That's where it is, because they're doing it's an odd reality in that movie.
right.
But that movie isn't all funny either. It's kind of sad, too, right?
Yeah, no, it's not a, I mean, it's a dark comedy, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah. But it was, but sometimes I could watch it when I worship. I was like, why am I couldn't, it's just weird.
Yeah. Well, it is weird, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's meant to be weird.
But that's another movie I haven't seen in so long.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more talking, Andy Kindler vaguely talking about Coen Brothers
Half
movies.
movie talk.
You remember that Coen Brothers movie? Maybe they wrote it, but they didn't.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
We have hours of Andy's OCD chronicles, but only slivers of Josh's ADHD tendencies. Other than conversationally, how does it affect you, and why have you stayed clear of treatment for it? As I've mentioned before, I share this affliction with the two of you. And he continues. Mine manifests in extreme boredom and having a voracious need to find something, anything interesting, then repeating it every 15 minutes. Like Josh, I can't watch things without pausing. The rest of the time I'm convincing myself how to slog through everything else I'm dreading. Well, I haven't talked about it much because, that's not me. But in fact, I have addressed
it's not you to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I will talk about it because I've, in the past 6 weeks or so, started taking Adderall for that very affliction.
Now, this is something I knew.
You knew.
But I did not reveal it to the public.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to talk about it, but since someone asked.
Well, you have to now.
Right,
They
sure.
asked you.
And it's been incredibly helpful. I mean, I think it's the only reason I've been able to stay in the game with this editing project, for example.
Wow. We haven't talked about this at all. This is...
Yeah, no, it's been remarkably helpful for me. And
you don't have a desire to do more?
No. I mean,
That's great.
I have more available to me now.
Oh, okay. You upped those.
The first month he gave me one a day, and there was probably 10 days where I really wanted a second one.
Yeah.
So now I have the second available to me if needed.
Beautiful. That could be good.
But it's been pretty, I don't want to say miraculous because I don't think it's miraculous, but it is hugely helpful. It really gets me out of my way a lot and keeps me in the game when I'm working a lot longer. And it's not speedy at all,
Right. It is a little, it's, no, it's not. You're right.
Well, I mean, it is speed. It's amphetamines, but for people with my wiring, apparently, it doesn't interact that way.
Well, but that's another issue too. It's like Tom Arnold telling me that when he was on ADHD medicine, he looked more calm, but then he abused it. So that's why he said he can't do it.
Right.
But that is what counterintuitively, it does calm you down.
Right.
But I can still feel speedy from it. Maybe that's from doing too much.
Well, I think if I took, if I took a bigger dose, I would probably feel speedy. But
and do you feel? So you're not even really feeling the need to do much more either.
No, it hasn't. And he said that it's with people with ADD, it doesn't have that the mounting increasing quality.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that chase factor because it's not.
Right.
It's attaching to a different place in your brain or something, but it doesn't, because with people who are speed addicts, it is a question of increasing the dose to chase the feeling, but so far, that hasn't been an issue at all.
Well,
but it's been incredibly helpful and it's been, it's not one of those things where I feel like, I wish I would have done this 30 years ago, there's part of that, but there's also kind of like, I feel like if I would have done it 30 years ago, I might have had a problem with it.
You think so?
Maybe.
My father used to say that that's why he wouldn't do like smoke pot because he used to be a cigarette smoker and he was afraid.
That's why I've said I never did coke for that reason.
Yeah.
Because I was a fat smoker. It's like, okay, you've seen the addictive qualities coming out.
That's pretty hard to stay. I'm reading the book about Laura Canyon and it's like reading about the 80s and the 90s. Like, I was around for the tail end of that with comics doing coke. It was very hard to stay away. I couldn't stay away from it. And luckily I never had enough money.
Right.
But it also made me feel kind of horrible.
Yeah. There's a lot. I've always been able to like see the future with shit like, it's like, well, I never got into photography for, it's like because I see nothing but money to spend on this thing.
Yeah.
As you dive deeper into it,
Right.
Less so now that you don't have to you don't have to do a dark room anymore, but,
yeah.
But it was the same thing with some drugs where it's like, no, I can see the future there. It's not good.
Well, the lesson though about it is that I feel for people, I feel like I don't want to be like the man who sends out this message, but when I read Delivered from Distraction, it made me feel a lot better about medication because it just said, these things like Adderall, they've been around for so long.
Right.
So they have a very, very kind of safe track record, but they kind of freak. So I just think that it's really kind of, I feel sad that we've stopped ourselves from, it's probably good to be worried about it, but like a lot of parents didn't help their kids when they could have helped their kids.
Right.
And
for me, it was just, I feel like now at this point, I've spent so many years toughing it out that I have a lot of those skills when I need them, What really hit the fan with me it was always deadlines that would be the Adderall,
Yeah.
It was the the adrenaline of having a deadline that would focus me. But as I've been self-employed the last 10 years, there isn't that person to please or disappoint.
Yeah.
You know, it's me, and I can live with disappointing myself.
Right, right.
From repetition. So that's where the shit kind of hit the fan, and I found that I was having, days of self-loathing because I just couldn't get traction with anything.
Could you not even? Because that's the thing. I couldn't.
Sometimes
even start.
I can't start, or I would just, I'll have files open on my desk for a week.
Right.
Where
can you sense yourself drifting? Because I can't sometimes.
No, it's very. I don't drift. It's like it's binary.
Right, I see.
But it's like, so things like editing in the past, because it's all start and stop, it's like every time you stop, that's an opportunity for your brain to go check Twitter or go, do whatever. And so that would be how I would work before, is that just the acting of stopping would have this trigger in my brain, like I just completed something and I jump to something else.
Right.
And so the Adderall, all it really does is just take that slight monkey mind impulse away when I'm working on something. It allows me to concentrate in a way that I really wasn't able to do for as long as I can now.
Yeah, that is. And the other thing is that.
But I don't wake up craving it, and I don't. There's days where I don't take it, and there's.
Well, that's the difference, I think, between drugs that ultimately are. Like, that's what I think is good about marijuana, is that when you come down from it, it's a gradual coming down. You don't have a crash down.
Right. And I haven't felt any of that with this either. But there's no high associated with it for me. There's no.
Oh, there is for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then maybe you don't have actual ADD.
That is a mean mamba jamba.
Maybe you're just an amphetamine addict.
I am addicted to the focusing thing, so it could be a problem.
Right.
But it also stops working sometimes too.
Yeah, I mean, there's been days too where my wiring is stronger than the Adderall. There's some days where it's just like, no, I have enough dread to stop me from doing this fucking thing, and no amount of pills can save me.
But you don't say you don't get that high from pot either.
No, I don't.
See,
I'm hard to medicate in general.
Right, but the only thing I feel almost euphoria from, and I have to always explain this to my therapist, I don't mean actual euphoria, I mean a feeling of peace, is from the Prozac.
Right.
Every night around 9 o'clock, I reduce my dose a little bit.
That's what you said.
Yeah,
that's good.
It feels better, but it's like every night around 9 o'clock, I just feel the absence of thinking,
Yeah.
And this guy, John Green.
I'm so glad we scheduled the podcast for 9 o'clock.
Well, no, I could still be wacky. But the guy who wrote this Turtles All the Way Down, the worst time he had in his life was when he said, I'm going to try and get off the antidepressants. And he said, because he was like, I need to be an artist, and I need to write, not be affected.
Right.
And it was horrible for him.
Yeah.
So I guess the message I'm saying is, like, you really can't make decisions about drugs or things like that. If you can make any decision you want, but they're almost always knee-jerk decisions. I didn't get help for so many years because I was just like, no, anybody who takes this, you're wrong to take that. And I stopped myself from getting help. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to do it forever.
No, and my resistance was different, but yeah, I mean, my resistance was much more, I know what it is. It'll probably help me, but it's still going to be a dependence on amphetamines, And that was a turnoff to me, as an idea. It's like, but I always believed it would work, and I never had any shame about the deficiency, and I've seen, all my friends virtually are on antidepressants, and I've seen or have been on them, and I've seen how much they helped, and, I don't have any stigma about the decision. It was never stigma based that kept me from getting help about it.
Right.
It just felt manageable to me.
Also, drugs, the person who wrote that book, Marbles, God, I can't believe it, Ellen Forney, she talks about how the same drugs it's harder when you have, it can be very hard when you have bipolar disorder because, which I don't have, but it's like a lot of times it's hard to find the right medicine, and then sometimes it stops working and it becomes a whole thing.
I find manic depression is a lot like being on a 100-foot tower.
That's true. Have you seen that commercial with
equipment making 1 million pancakes in the air?
That guy won a Peabody.
It's kind of like that. It's sort of more. Like that. I mean, that's a bad analogy, but
Well, also you do a thing where you look around in two directions, and you do space work. That's very true. I do a lot of space
Explore
work.
your where, as they say. So Yoshi, good luck with your ADHD issues. I can only say that for me, it's been a boon to my well-being. I spent a lot the last 6 weeks. I've spent substantially less time hating myself.
And I just want to say two things to Yoshi. Boredom is definitely a symptom. What I call boredom, I've come to realize is actually anxiety. Because I used to go, why am I? It's not right to be bored, but that feeling of boredom is the feeling of, it's almost like a low grade depression.
Right.
And so if you, Yoshi, I don't know if you read the book Delivered from Distraction, but ADHD and OCD go together a lot. And the thing you're describing where he keeps wanting to up the ante to find something fun or.
Right.
That's like a typical OCD ADHD combo.
That search for the dopamine hit.
That's exactly right.
Of interest, yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I've stayed away from the cocaine.
Good call.
And the heroin. You said do some heroin and see how you feel. I said I don't think so.
Well, I stick by it.
Literally?
Literally.
Did you mean that double entendre?
I did not.
Does it make you sad that I knew it was happening?
I've seen the entendre and the damage done.
Ladies and gentlemen, now go listen to the. I've seen the needle and the damage done, and you'll understand that reference. I guess that's still a current reference.
Well, you got it.
That doesn't mean anything.
David Gogo says, "Dear Thought Spiral, I love you. Sincerely, David Gogo."
Oh, David, I love you. I've been bantering with him. Also, I've been kibitzing with him on Twitter.
Nice.
Both kibitzing and bantering.
That's good. That means you aren't getting into trouble.
No, but I saw Frank. I mean, see, like Frank gets mad, kind of, but it cracks me. It doesn't seem like he gets like me, but it reminds me of me sometimes.
Yeah, but you don't feel like he's suffering from
the
backlash like you.
I like when he goes, bye-bye.
Frank can take the backlash when he's in that mode.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of slights that Frank will fucking grumble and gnash his teeth at, but not that arena.
Not that kind of thing, yeah.
But tell him we're out of potatoes.
Don't even start with them.
Brian Tate says, the other day Andy tweeted, "If you don't love Leonard Cohen, we're through." I agree wholeheartedly. Do you have a favorite song? Josh, what is your opinion of Cohen? Will Andy make an exception for the sake of the show if Josh doesn't feel the same?
Oh, I know you like Leonard Cohen.
Sure.
But you don't like the arrangement, you told me.
Yeah, I don't like his records as much as his songs.
Yeah.
Much like George Harrison on All Things Must Pass. I don't like the production of the record very much, but there's great songs.
I wish I could say that I was familiar with him to know all the different things, but I only really know the hits from him, and I'm learning more.
Right.
But I just love them. But
they're great songs, and it's just like, even if you don't like Leonard Cohen, you should aspire to like Leonard Cohen just because, it's part of the you're a cool person package, I think.
Well, also that he was a sincerely spiritual person and wasn't embarrassed about it. He was, and I think during a time period where
he was seeking, not preaching most of the time. And
that's right.
Narrating his journey rather than regurgitating it as teaching. I
think he did acid once at a concert, and because I heard him telling a story about it. It was an amazing night, but I don't know exactly what happened. He got freaked out and then came out. Does that ring a bell?
It's like I like Leonard Cohen's interviews better than I like his songs almost, because I just think he's such a great figure and such an artist figure that it's hard to resist.
I would go further and say that I love. It's almost like poetry music.
Yeah.
Music tree.
Right.
And I just love, the words of like the song Hallelujah. You hear it a couple times and you think it's going to be a soaring in it, but it's the opposite of soaring. He goes, but you don't like music that much,
you don't really
do you?
Care for music, do you?
Do you? What's it to you?
It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, a minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing, hallelujah.
Oh man, those are amazing words.
That was a pretty good Leonard Cohen.
That was a very good one. You do everything. You have a good ear.
But I don't like that record. I mean, it's a great song, and it's a song that even he continued to work on and apparently wrote like 80 verses.
Oh, I love that. That song is an anthem. For me, it changes.
Well, I mean, he wrote those are the ones he chose for the record, but there's all these others, and there's the one that Jeff Buckley did used different words, used different verses of his that weren't on Cone's.
Yeah.
He doesn't do the "I'll stand before the God of Song."
Oh, and that's Buckley?
Buckley doesn't do that.
Oh, I see. No. Right. I haven't heard that version.
So it's Buckley's version is a more sort of sexual than, but Cohen wrote all the lyrics,
I think Suzanne was
But it's interesting, I think Malcolm Gladwell did a podcast. Have you ever listened to his podcast?
No, is it good?
Yeah, it can be good. It's not universally good, but,
I hear it's not good the first time, but then if you listen to it
10,000 times.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
That is the exact song for that bit. Hello, everybody. Hello.
But he was talking about, he did an episode about that song and how it was like this living thing, and that other artists, so many people have covered it, and how it's, had its life.
And Suzanne is a great song.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I like The Future a lot.
I gotta listen.
When they said, repent, repent, I don't know what they meant. It was in Natural Born Killers. I've seen the future. It's murder. Seth Dick III says, you are recording this the night before Election Day, but we hear it afterwards. Fair to say the world could be a very different place? Yes.
I think
so what would Foster Brooks say in light of all this?
Well, hopefully tomorrow people go to the polling place and cast their voting card for someone in a blue state.
Blue state.
That's all I got.
But I think we're both scared to death about tomorrow and hopeful.
Yeah, I'm a little scared.
Well, you can't not be scared after 2016. Susan thinks the Russians are going to steal it.
She thinks they're going to steal tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. She's worried about it.
Yeah.
How do we know that the hard count is not affected? How do we know?
No, there's lots to worry about in every direction. Enlightened Misanthrope says, do you believe that therapy has truly helped Andy? Also, have you discovered in therapy that a lot of your issues trace back to childhood trauma? Thirdly, Mr. Kindler, I've heard that Mr. Weinstein has been stealing office supplies. Just thought you should know.
Mr. Weinstein, please come in here, please.
Yes, Mr. Kindler.
Mr. Weinstein, there seems to be some items missing from our supply.
I didn't take the stapler. What? I'm sorry.
Well, you certainly defensive about it, man.
You didn't say anything about the stapler, did you?
Now I know you're taking the stapler. Well, bring back the stapler. Okay, well, I'll work more on that.
And scene.
And scene.
All right.
Did we answer the question?
Yeah, it was a setup for that. Oh, no, but the first ones, do you believe that therapy has truly helped Andy? Of course it has. Maybe, one day a week helps, the other one's a backslide.
Something was
Tuesday is 2 steps forward, Thursday is 1 step back, but it's still 1 step.
Oh, God, you're making me sick. That's why she tried to swing me into the third session on Friday. But what was the second thing he said?
Second thing was...
Is it he? Who was it?
It was Enlightened Misanthrope.
Oh, okay.
Have you discovered in therapy that a lot of your issues trace back to childhood trauma? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that kind of sarcastic, or he's being sincere?
I don't know. It's almost, it kind of seems sarcastic.
He's taking us for a ride.
Right.
Have you noticed that any of your problems come from things that happened to you?
Went from sincere to semi-ironic to the fully ironic Mr. Weinstein setup. So.
That's true. He was progressively being
up.
more arch.
Yes. Greg Kelly says, since Andy brought up Cat Stevens, do you think the two of you could cover father and son? Would be something special.
I hope not.
How can I try to explain? When I do, he turns away again. It's always been the same old story. From the moment
I was ordered. I don't believe that from the moment he could talk.
From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way.
But that's not true. I think the first thing he said...
I think it is.
Okay, good.
Listen.
Listen. Michael Penn pointed out to me that song that George Harrison sounds very adenoidal in that song. Listen, do you want? It's like all through the nose. Listen, do you want to know a secret? Shut up. Just end the show. Why are you hanging me out to dry?
I was just trying to
say something.
Find the right way to jab you for the name drop.
I know. The thing about me is that there's something about me that's really off-putting. Like, I say Michael Penn, and you go, well, he's just saying it. But then there's another thing where you go, he's a man.
Albert Brooks once said to me, name dropping is so unattractive.
Charlie Chaplin said that to me.
What the hell? Alrighty.
This is longer than last week, Josh.
It's long, but you were late, so. Mark Thompson says, besides vintage videos, have either of you found original content channels on YouTube that you enjoy? Not really, but just because I haven't looked for them so much.
I have no patience, but I would like to have my own YouTube channel I could look at.
I'd rather just relive and rehash and regurgitate.
But you love the things you watch on YouTube, but you don't have a specific channel.
No, I don't. But you can follow my channel at J. Elvis Weinstein.
You have a channel, right?
Yeah, but it's
everyone does.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
It's my account, but I have some stand-up.
I just signed a deal with Vimeo.
Really? Let me enter a password to get to the joke.
It's very funny. You got to do that joke. Come on. That's a very funny joke.
Jot it down. It's yours,
Okay.
baby.
No, it's yours. Well, we'll see.
All right.
If I don't do well with it, I'll give it back.
Yeah, I know. Tommy Barcanero says in Test Show 78, Josh said that he briefly wanted to live in San Francisco, but changed his mind when it got all fucked up, in quotes. As someone who's born in San Francisco who still loves the city, I'm curious why Josh doesn't like it. Okay. Sometimes I forget we're recording. But no, the last 10 years that I've gone to San Francisco, it's like the income inequality poster city. You know, it is swarming with homeless people, and it's not like homeless people. But it is it's very hard to walk the streets of San Francisco and find a balance between your humanity and shit to do. You know?
Right.
Because at least in the spots that I've been planted for gigs and stuff, it's like you walk down the street from request to request to request to request to request for money.
Why is this? Why are there more? I don't understand why there's more homeless people now than there were.
Because the tech millionaires have taken over the city.
Oh, so
rents have gotten so high,
right,
that it's unaffordable for average income even.
But here in LA, there's more homeless people. I'm really curious. I don't know exactly what's going on, but like in Canada, there's a lot of homeless people too.
Right. Well,
not as many. I
think where there's tolerance, you'll find homeless people. And and there should be tolerance. It's like I said.
Right.
That's the thing is that when it's hard to find the balance for me when I go to San Francisco now. When I first went there, it felt like this bastion of civility to me.
Yeah.
And there's like a mean edge now to that town that wasn't there before to me. And part of it is that, and part of it is it's the combination of needy people and then people who have turned off to the needy people.
Yeah.
Walking like callous zombies through the street, just trying to get to their next place without engaging every 5 feet. I don't know. I still like going there, but I've found that it doesn't charm me anymore. I feel that income inequality palpably now,
I always have fun when I go there, but I had more fun when I was coming up comedian because I had a great comedy scene and
right.
So I don't know. I think it's I've always thought that they had that thing about being. I felt like a lot of times there was a jealousy of Los Angeles from San Francisco, but LA is neither jealous of San Francisco nor cares.
Right.
So I do feel like sometimes San Francisco.
I always felt like it was scorn for Los Angeles and San Francisco, like an arrogant scorn.
Yeah, which is I don't think it's not warranted in a way.
No, it's not.
But San Francisco.
But that I think was part of that arrogant feel. I think that vibe was part of what I was feeling and liking.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Is like this is somehow elevated. This place. We're all living here together so well. Look at us. And,
yeah.
And that just doesn't feel like that anymore.
Well, and the thing too is like even when you start to learn about towns like Portland, when they become gentrified, there's no black people anywhere. They've all been moved out from the downtown areas. And so it's like, it's a very progressive town, and yet there's this history of the culture being wiped away. LA too had so much culture that was Spanish culture that was wiped away. Clubs and bars and things like that. So I guess I've seen a couple of documentaries and I remember two things.
The making of Dodger Stadium. Tweet Bahara says, not to go all Perush, but I still contend that Andy's big-blooded joke from Test Show 17 was a good joke. Just saying.
Do you know it?
No.
It's called Big Blooded? Hey, I'll listen back.
Yeah, sure. 80 Morgan says, has Andy considered that Eddie Pepitone gave him a DVD of silent movies knowing Kindler is a murder buff and that he might clear up the New Orleans Axeman killings?
What?
See victim list.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Take a deep dive.
Did he get killed? Is it about the actor getting killed?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Don't know the reference.
How do I look it up?
New Orleans Axeman killings, and then see his victim list.
I just found those Harold Lloyd. Is it Harold Lloyd?
Yeah.
I just found them again. They were like behind a bunch of things.
Right. Hey Chew Chewbacca. Not Hi Chew.
Hi Chew. Don't get me started.
Just wondering what it might sound like if Huell Hauser and Larry King tried to figure out what Dennis Miller is referencing.
Now, is this where I play Larry King?
Yeah, you'll be Larry in this.
And then what's the premise?
The two of them, Dennis and Larry and Huell, try to figure out Dennis.
Today in the show for the entire hour, I have the fantastic Huell Hauser.
Hi, Larry. It's fantastic to be here to discuss so many formerly funny comedians.
Well, I forgot the premise again. What's the premise? What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, Dennis Miller.
It was doomed from the start.
Are you a fan of? Hello, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Are you a fan of Dennis Miller? Are you familiar with his material?
Well, I was wondering why he started off with a joke about Ted Cruz and ended up with a Petticoat Junction reference. I don't understand it.
Well, hello. For the entire hour, questions to Huell Hauser about Dennis Miller.
I was just happy to be here, Larry.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes, hi, St. Louis.
What's your question for Huell Hauser's opinion of Dennis Miller? Yeah, Huell, Hi, nice to meet you. I love your show.
Likewise.
Do you think does he ever really say cha-cha? Or is that just a thing that...
Well, I do remember back in the 1980s, he did say, I have a life to lead, cha-cha, but it really is more of an exaggeration.
I hope this takes off. That was good.
That was fantastic. Oh, God. Lucky just get...
That would never happen to you, right?
Sneak attacked this motherfucker.
Because for a second, I really didn't think there was anybody else in the room with her.
Right. Oh, Lucky. Why won't you go home, she says.
Is that what you think she wants?
Yeah, she wants to go to bed now.
Oh, so do I.
Measles Howell says, if they make a Thought Spiral movie, how much of time will be spent answering the same question over and over again?
My God, that one hurt. That was very, very well put. Block that guy.
Let me just do a little last roundup here.
Are you going through all your emails?
Seth Dobson, who was the person I think who's coming to see you. And
Yes.
Listening to old test shows in reverse order and nearly choked on my Diet Coke when Andy said NBA hoop time in number ? Perush will know. Anyways, Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi?
Oh,
I prefer Diet Pepsi.
I answered that stupid question
did you?
question, but I was taken in again.
Yeah, you don't have to tag us.
I'm not supposed to talk. I said sugar Coke. That's what I said.
Well, that wasn't question.
I don't know. I don't like diet drinks.
I prefer Diet Pepsi to Diet Coke, I think. And I prefer Coke Zero to Diet Coke.
How about, but you don't drink Coke or Pepsi?
I don't drink any of the above very much.
Yeah.
I've had like one sugared Coke in the last year, I think.
But if you want to know which is better, I still think Coke is better than Pepsi. Pepsi is a little bit too sugary.
Well, yeah, sweetened Coke,
Yeah.
Coke 100%.
Yeah.
Don't even actually like Pepsi.
But that's what.
I genuinely don't like it.
See, Todd Barry makes a whole joke that his joke is there's no way you could like Coke and not like Pepsi because they taste exactly the same.
It's just not true.
Okay. I need you to argue with him.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one. Dana Schwartz has a new running gag. Holy crap, am I too late? Like he did last week. Running gags don't work with Andy because he doesn't remember anything.
Oh, is he too late for the question and answer? Period?
Yes.
How come I don't get inside jokes that relate to the show?
Because you don't remember anything ever.
Nah.
Perush, Dennis Miller at an Indian restaurant. Some dishes he might be interested in.
Gobi Manchurian, chicken vindaloo, fish vapudu, Rogan Josh.
Hey, the guy had a little too much tandoori chicken.
He went overboard on the chicken tikka. I would have gone with chicken tikka masala myself. So, come on over. We'll have some sagaloo, huh? Hey, Perush.
Hey, Perush.
Luke Hawley says, remember that stand-up who ended every joke by saying hamburger?
Yeah, hamburger. Wasn't that his name?
Were there other comedians with gimmicks that strange? Besides our friend Mr. Brooks, of course.
Maybe Lenny Schultz.
What do you mean?
I'm glad you kept going with that. That was great. Isn't that more like Shemp? No, it's not Dom DeLuise.
Sorry, I didn't commit enough.
Charles Nelson Riley.
Derek Faraci says, can we sell a sitcom to a network where Andy Kindler is a ghost who haunts J. Elvis Weinstein? We can call it Kindlered Spirits.
I think I answered that one too.
Okay.
I liked it. I think that's very funny.
Seth Dick, the third, final question. If 1 is the loneliest number and 2 can be as sad as 1, what number is the happiest or most content?
I think you'll agree with me as I'm trying to find a joke about this. 32. 32 is just fabulous.
That's what I was going to say. Great.
What do you think is 1 is the loneliest number, 2 can be as sad as 1 is the loneliest number, 3 is a crowd, 5 golden rings. I can keep going for hours like this, Josh. Hours. Really hot stuff.
I like 3 because it's like 2 with a finger up your ass.
Where would that come from in your brain?
I don't know.
5 golden rings. Don't tell me that song is not public domain.
Goes to the Chinese hooker, says, I'd like to do a 69. She says, why do you want beef and broccoli?
These jokes never were actual jokes. Give me 1 from column A, 3 from column B.
Hey, if you want to talk to us during the week, write us at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com. Sorry you missed Andy in Phoenix this past week, but, you know.
I'm coming to Union Hall.
Get on Andy's website so you can catch up on gigs he forgot to write down.
But Union Hall, I'll be at Union Hall the Saturday after Thanksgiving. 2 shows.
Which is what date?
November 24th is a boom, boom, bang, baby.
Saturday, November 24th, Andy will be at Union Hall in Brooklyn, New York.
That's right. And I'll be, 2 days before that, I'll be with my mama.
So
Queens.
Buy tickets for that, too.
Yeah. 2-way mirror tickets.
Are you, does your mom cook still?
No. My mom never cooked.
Okay.
That's a whole other story. I don't have a mother. Okay.
Don't start.
So, Andy, we got so
we
far.
We know you have a mother. We know she likes oats.
That's not funny. Parkinson's.
Our assignments for next week. Andy's going to watch the original Manchurian Candidate.
Yes, and I forgot what you're going to watch.
I'm going to watch the Last Picture Show, which is one of those movies that I've kind of seen but never really watched and kind of pretended like I've seen more than I've actually seen.
And it's a movie that I
even interviewed Peter Bogdanovich pretending I've seen it. So it's time for me to watch it beginning to end.
You know, he listens to Thought Spiral. He's going to be very
my
offended.
God!
I have to kind of go because I have to get back here for Wednesday's makeup.
That's
podcast.
right. We have to, because of our schedule the rest of the month.
Because of me forgetting gigs.
We're banking a show on Wednesday, so
I hope it's good.
Next week's show is going to be the day after the election.
So Wednesday could be
So
the
it's
worst.
going to be raw emotion, one way or the other. Next
So
show.
it could be the great. If we okay, I hope Wednesday is going to be a party.
Let's do it.
Okay, brother. I love you. I'll try to end like a regular thing. I love you. I care about you. I miss you.
You know, Andy, I feel the same way, and
Wow.
I enjoy our time together a great deal.
Shut the fuck up.
Right back at you.